What is going on with you YouTube fam? You guys are now watching TheCaliEffect, and today we're going to be playing Odd Eyes Pendulum Magician. Now I know you guys love this deck, and it was a very fun deck to play. The main reason why is because of the new cards that are coming in the Pendulum Evolution structure deck has made this deck complete spice, like fire, like it is the goo, and I enjoy playing this deck. As you guys can see, I set up some pretty good scales, and my opponent was able to Minerva me and then make a whole bunch of nasty cards, and I'm like, no, you nasty man, you don't do stuff like that. I'm the person that goes off. So I'm just going to go ahead and Synchro Summon, Exceed Summon, Pendulum Summon, Summon, and it feels really good to be able to do all of this before the new rules come into effect, where you can only special summon monsters from your extra deck into the extra zone unless they are linked to a link monster, which only complicates the game, but makes special summoning easier with extra steps. And now that I think about it, Maxi should probably get banned. We're playing against some of the better decks. Last time you seen Shiranui, this time you're going to see A, B, C. I just like saying it like that. And I really do think that ABC can still be a competitive deck coming into the next format, mainly because it doesn't need to special summon a whole bunch of monsters from the extra deck. But more importantly, its basis, its simplicity allows you to play so much back row that can completely overwhelm the opponent. This time around, I have to play against Solemn Warnings and Solemn Strikes. So how do we destroy that? Well, there's this amazing card called Dragon Pit Magician that allows you to discard cards from your hand to destroy back row. And we back in there with that Starving Venom Dragon, boys. Card is really good. I never thought that Starving Venom Dragon would be this competitive, but inside this deck, I think that it's probably one of the better cards that has ever came out for a fusion, period. It's just freaking amazing. To be able to get that big and get over almost any obstacle really helps the game inside of the deck. But as you guys can see, this Odd Eyes Magician deck is ready to roll. This deck is extremely good. The next matchup, we're going to be playing against True Draco. And I didn't draw a pretty desirable hand, but I'm still able to get rid of cards like Diagram. Hey, or as I like to say, Diagram, you diagram. Get it? Because they dying, it's diagram, and forget it. Anyways, this deck seems to struggle against the True Draco matchup unless you draw a Pendulum Graph the Trap card. And once you draw that Pendulum Graph Trap card, the matchup is really easy. I'm telling you, if you can resolve this card, it doesn't even matter if you're losing your monsters. You're just going to Pendulum Summon right back from destroying their trap cards or whatsoever. You're going to continuously use the Pendulum Graph Trap card to destroy your Violet Magician or destroy whatever you can, and then just continuously destroy their cards, destroy their cards before they can get off a respectable summon. And that will put you so far ahead of the game, it's not even funny. I mean, legitimately, once you stop their diagram, they practically diagram. This time around, as you guys can see, we're playing against Chaos Max. Well, actually, you don't even see Chaos Max. You see Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you can tell by the melody of the Dragon Awakening, but also by the advanced ritual art, you can see the Chaos Max. And me not knowing what I'm playing, I see Reinforcement Arm, and I'm like, go stash that hoe. Well, I could have go stashed the melody, which probably would have equated to better. I don't really know what else to say. And I do goof off on this time around. I accidentally had the Pendulum call, and I don't make the best adequate board, but this deck can obviously make up for mistakes. As you guys can see, I'm going to Pendulum Summon. And I was like, how do I get over this card? And Starving Venom became a very viable option. I'm like, huh, that's a pretty strong card I got there now. And if I would have made the Castell beforehand, it would have been game. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this deck. It is very fun to play. Let's get you guys to the deck profile to show you exactly my build. Thanks for watching. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to the deck profile. This deck is nothing less of amazing. So many great cards in here. We're going to run one copy of Dragon Pit Magician. Basically, what this card does is not only is it a level 7 monster to special summon to go into your Exceed plays, but it also allows you to destroy spells and traps. Dragon Pulse Magician actually came up quite a bit, especially when your opponent plays 2 Draco monsters and they leave their monster affected by spells. So Dragon Pulse Magician gets in there. 2 copies of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Now, this deck would not be an Odd Eyes deck without Pendulum Dragon. It also couples really well with Sky Iris. 1 copy as Jank Magician. This card is actually really good. I've made some pretty good boards. I've actually Exceed summoned into Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon using this card's Pendulum effect. But most importantly, you can target a light monster and negate that monster's effect. So if they ever do leave that, you know, that True Draco monster affected by monsters, we can do some things to it. One copy of Oath Dragon Magician. This card was also another pivotal card for the Oath Magician concept, but now we necessarily don't need it. I run it more so as a 2 scale. It's a level 6, so it's kind of clunky. We don't really make any rank 6 plays anymore, but it's still an extraordinarily good card for retrieving Pendulum cards from your extra deck back into your hand. 3 copies of Performapal Pal Scroll Crobat Joker. This is the Stratos of the deck. You'll never set it as a scale, but even if you do, you can still Pendulum summon because it restricts you to only summoning Performapal Pal, Magician, and Odd Eyes monsters. Wait. 1 copy of Black Fang Magician. Now, with this card is actually pretty good. When it's destroyed, you can target 1 Dark Spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon it. It is a high scale. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half of its current attack and then destroy it. So that's a pretty good pin scale. I liked its effect a lot. 1 copy of White Wing Magician. This is extremely good in the Zodiac matchup, in my opinion. Its Pendulum effect says once per turn, you can negate the activation of an activated card effect that targets 1 Dark Spellcaster card you control. If this Pendulum Summon card is used as synchro material, banish it. That's the monster effect. The monster effect, yeah. But the Pendulum effect, yeah, that's good. 3 copies of Wisdom Mind Magician. Still one of the more, you know, most basic, best cards in the deck. Allows you to search any Magician or Performapal Pal card into your Pendulum Zone. Please don't search for Scroll Crobat Joker into your Pendulum Zone. You are doing so many wrong things with this deck if you're placing Crobat in your pin skill. I didn't even know that you can put Performapal Pal cards into your pin skill until I read it. So you shouldn't be doing it, all right? 2 copies of Iris Magician. Now, this is a card that I find really debatable. I've been on and off with this card between 3 and 2, mainly because once you activate its effect once, you're good. You really don't need to activate its effect. I mean, you can activate its effect twice, and that's fine, but after you've already activated 1, you don't need more than 1. But seeing it is also a problem. So you gotta find a weird balance between that card. Ultimately, it's a good card. Its pin effect is you can target 1 Dark Spellcaster monster you control. Any battle damage your opponent takes from attacks involving the target monster is double. So you think about what you could do with that. Also, this card is destroyed. 3 copies of Violet Poison Magician. This card, if you ask me, is the Zodiac Dryden of the deck, mainly because you can make it destroy itself, or you can use it in combination with the Pendulum Graph Trap card, and you can destroy so many cards your opponent controls. What it does is once per turn, if a Dark Spellcaster monster you control battles, before damage calculation, you can make that monster gain 1200 attack, then destroy this card. This attack increase lasts until the end of the damage step. Its monster effect is, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it. So, destroy it with your Trap Pendulum Graph Space-Time, and you get to destroy 2 cards. Bleh, on your opponent's turn. Next is Toon Magician. This is a card that I've also been messing with at 3 and 2. I do like its effects. Its pin effect is all monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each face-up Magician Pendulum monster with a different name in your extra deck. Boo, we really don't care. But its monster effect is, cannot be special summoned from the extra deck. If this card is used as a fusion, synchro, or Xe material, all other materials must be Magician monsters. It's a racist. Alright, fine. We got racist monsters going around. When this card is Pendulum summoned from the hand, you can special summon 1 Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in defense position except this card. But its effects are negated. Also banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 2 Magician once per turn. This card sets up so many plays. Literally, if you have just this card in your hand and you're Pendulum summoning it, that's fine. You can make anything you want. It doesn't even matter. It's almost like T.I.'s song. You can have whatever you like as soon as you summon this card. Next is 1 copy of Noble Dragon Magician. Its Pendulum effect is terrible. Actually, it's not even terrible. If you have no Magician cards in your other Pendulum Zone, destroy that. Now, people are probably thinking, why is that? Like, why isn't that terrible? Well, because there are certain times where you want your Pendulum cards destroyed. So it actually does have its uses. Its monster effect is if this card is in your hand and graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 Odd Eyes monster you control. Reduces level by 3, and if you do, special summon this card. Cannot be used as synchro material except for the synchro summon of a dragon type monster. If this card is used with a synchro summon and the other synchro materials is not an Odd Eyes monster, place this card to the bottom of the deck. This card closely reminds me of a democratic racist, alright? Because it doesn't necessarily dislike those other cards, but if you're not Odd Eyes, I'm gonna go to the deck. Next is 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I didn't want to run all the what did I call it? I think I call it the Power 5. I didn't want to run the Power 5 in this deck, which is 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Ghost Ash, and 1 copy of Maxi, because I've noticed in this deck, you really want to save your monsters for Pendulum Scales. But Ghost Ogre, I feel, is the better of both of the hand traps between Ghost Ogre and Ghost Ash. And what it does, you guys should already know by now. It destroys face-ups. 1 copy of Maxi because I like to draw cards, Raigeki. 2 copies of Duelist Alliance. I haven't necessarily found this card completely useful at 3, so 2 copies is definitely great. Odd Eyes Fusion is God in this deck. It's just completely good. I've summoned Starving Venom a couple of times, and then Odd Eyes Vortex is still a card to be reckoned with. 3 copies of Pendulum Call. What this card does is discard 1 card, add 2 Pendulum Magician monsters with different name from your deck to your hands. Now, everybody should know that part. What the best part of it is that your Magician cards in your Pendulum Zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. That includes their own effects. So I can activate the effect of Violet Poison Magician and give my monster 1200 attack, and it won't destroy itself. I will still have a pin scale to be able to Pendulum Summon on my next turn. 1 copy of Terraforming for the Sky Iris. 1 copy of Cosmic Cyclone because I'm random and I like 44 cards. The Emergency Teleport to special summon the Ghost Ogre. If you guys have not heard of this little play, then y'all don't know what y'all missing, fam. 3 copies of Pendulum Graph of the Ages. I do not like this card at 3. I love this card, but I don't like it at 3. Mainly because after you activate, you have 1 on the field. The other 2 become completely useless in your deck. But you got to see it. 2 copies of Sky Iris. This card it sets off your Pendulum Graph of the Ages. It sets off all of your Magician cards. And it adds you Odd Eye Fusion or Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Really good card. And then Pendulum Graph Space Time. Your opponent cannot target spellcaster monsters with trap effects. The spell one says your opponent can't target monsters with spell effects. You can target 1 Magician Pendulum card in your Monster Zone or in your Pendulum Zone and 1 card your opponent controls. Destroy them. If you did not destroy both cards with this effect, you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So, literally, you can make it into a send 3 if you summon the right cards. For the extra deck, Starving Venom, 2 Odd Eyes Vortex, 1 Ignister, 1 Enlightenment Paladin. This card has actually been really relevant to adding Cosmic Cyclone or Raigeki back to my hand. 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. This card, when you summon this, you're probably going to win. 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon because I like destroying your diagrams to add my Sky Iris to my hand. 1 Odd Eyes Rebellion. You don't summon this card often. I mean, the only way really to summon it is go through Zhank. But when you do summon this card, you win. More often than not, you're going to use it for Odd Eyes Fusion material anyways. 1 Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. This card's freaking nutty as well. 1 number 11 Big Eye because I like stealing your bitch. 2 copies of Star Time Magician. This is the main card of the deck. Must be XC summoned with the above XC materials, which is 2 level 4 Magician Pendulum monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Add 1 face-up Dark Spellcaster Pendulum monster from your extra deck or your deck. I didn't even know it was from your fucking extra deck or your graveyard. What the fuck have I been doing with this card? I've just been adding from my deck. Not even gonna lie. Once per turn of a Pendulum monster in your Monster Zone or your Pendulum Zone will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 Spellcaster monster to the graveyard instead. So I can send Noble Dragon, I can send Noble Dragon, or I can send Noble Dragon to the graveyard. But most importantly, it triggers Space Time, which allows me to send another card to the graveyard. So I can send 3 if I have him, this, and the Violent Poison. So it gets pretty nutty. Or I'm guaranteed to send 2. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon. I've summoned this card so many times to destroy my own pin scales. Don't call me a bad player until you win because of it. Castel and Daigusto Emerald. Now for the sideboard, I run 1 of each kaiju, which is Gamsil and Sticky. All of the other kaijus, I mean, unless you're Dagoran, but that's for dinos. 3 copies of Ghost Ash. I personally don't think it's a great card, but it's really good against spells that add. So in the sideboard you go. The 3rd copy of Ghost Ogre because, you know, sometimes Maxi is actually useless and Ghost Ogre is really good. 3 copies of Droll Lock. Diagram. 2 copies of Dark Hole, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, and 2 copies of Twin Twister. This is a lot of back row destruction. I hate back row. But thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Let's roll to the credits, fellas. What's good with you, fam? You guys can always catch me on social media, Face Chat or MyGram. It's always going to be the Cali Effect. Most importantly, if you want to buy the cheapest cards from your favorite Yu-Gi-Tuber, you can go to eBay or in Google Documents that is down below in the description. Make sure you subscribe to my alternate channel, King of Leon, for other things Cali Effect related. But most importantly, treat yourself to another one of these videos down below. Thanks for watching.